Hi, I'm Terry Murphy for the Data Advocate and the Senior Editor for Realty Times Women in Business, Women in Real Estate in the Men's Room with Murph. And we have the ultimate man in the men's room today. His name is Brian Boero. You may have heard of him. He's been around since 1977 in the real estate industry. He's the CEO and co-founder of, well, you're the co-founder anyway, of
Yep.
1000 Watt, which is focused on real estate and mortgage categories. Past president of Inman, I'm sure you've heard of that, and formerly the CEO of VREO. And this was interesting to me, Brian. You created the e-signature and document management software for PCs.
Well, no, do you remember, Terry, and you probably do, around 2005, 6, 7, there was this type of laptop called a tablet PC where you used a pen, and it was before the iPhone, so they got really big for a few years. And so we wrote software for that, and it synced to the cloud and all that, and connect to the website. And then tablet PCs kind of went away because we had the iPhone. We had something better.
Bless your heart, though, but it
Yeah.
somehow you thought about that. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, as we talked about in the pre-interview, I'm so excited to attend your webinar. It was called the Wakeup Call. Over 1,000 people attended, and everybody else is sorry they missed it. What was your single objective with that? It was called the Wakeup Call for a reason.
Yeah, it was called the Wake Up Call for a reason. And the Wake Up Call, really, the alarm's been ringing for years and years and years now, and it sort of reached its high point about 2.5 weeks ago with this NAR settlement that was announced, the proposed settlement. And it's all of this legal and regulatory energy that has been directed at real estate and the class action lawsuit loss in the end of October. And we kind of knew all of this was coming. And so now it's culminated in this settlement, which will change things. And my view is that we don't know exactly how it's going to change things or how it's going to play out exactly. I don't know. Anybody that tells you they know is, trying to sell you something. But what we do know is that there is a challenge that has presented itself to those of us in the real estate industry. And the challenge is that, for lots of reasons that I went into, particularly on the buy side of the business, we never told a story effectively. We never made the case for what a really good buyer's agent is. In many cases, and this was borne out in a lot of research that we did, people who went through the process of buying a home really left that process not even knowing in over half the cases how their agent was paid. So it's something that I think is unfortunate because we created this like black hole of understanding around the value of a buyer's agent that is now being filled with all of the stuff that has happened in the wake of the lawsuit decision back in October, and then the proposed NAR settlement just 2.5 weeks ago. And we see all of this media attention, almost all of it negative, focused on the residential real estate industry. And they're filling that hole that we left open. And the media is telling the story of residential real estate. And now we have to deal with that challenge. So that's the challenge. And how we respond to it is the thing to be done, because we can't know how it's going to play out, but we can respond to the challenge as we see it in front of us.
Well, having been licensed since before most people were born, I can tell you that it has been a challenge in the industry to get a uniform kind of description of the value of an agent, what we can do, what we can't do. And one of the most important things that you talked about was whoever has the strongest value proposition, framing and messaging will prevail. The buyer agent value story isn't going to tell itself. It's on us. And that is absolutely the truth. It's not the activities that we do, but it's about the experiential information. Like you said, Zillow, right? Zillow can, we don't help you find how Zillow can do that. We can tell you what's wrong with it. And boots on the ground, I'd like to say, tell us a little bit about the consumer expectations on this.
So consumer expectations, and again, we've done tons of research with consumers over the last 2 years, a lot of it focused on the buy side. And people, even those who have gone through buying a home recently in the last 2 or 3 years, come out of it generally liking their agent, but not really having a clear sense of what that agent did. And like I said, most of them didn't even understand how their agent was paid because their agent, in many cases, didn't have to talk about that or told them that their services were free and just kind of left this void of understanding. And what consumers are expecting right now is anybody's guess because they have all of these ideas in their head that they're reading about now. And what you tend to see in the media reporting on this is that, well, an agent, is no longer needed to help you buy a home because you can find a home on all of these websites. And then secondly, the agent really is just somebody who shows you the home and opens the door. Now, any good agent who works with buyers knows that those are among the least significant things that you do, right? So the challenge now is to communicate proactively in a way you maybe didn't do before, the really important things that you do. And I kind of went into that, but the bottom line is people, when they go to buy a home, are scared. They know it's a big deal and they don't want to screw it up. So that's sort of the emotional baseline of most buyers. What the good buyer's agent does is to address that feeling of being scared and not wanting to screw it up by mitigating risk. That's what a good agent does. I'm going to tell you what is enough to pay. I'm going to tell you what is too much. So I'm going to mitigate the risk of you spending more than you should for a home. And I'm going to know um, all of the questions and all of the answers to the things you don't even know to think about. I'm going
Exactly.
to I'm going to interpret all of the disclosures that surround this property. I'm going to get you inspections to do your due diligence on the property if I'm able to. And I'm going to help you make sure that you go into this with eyes wide open and don't pay too much and don't buy a home that you're going to regret or it's going to end up costing you a fortune and being a money pit. That's what a great agent does. It's not finding you a house because you have Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com or 1,000 other apps to do that. That's the easy part. And I'm not just there to open doors. You can go to the open house if you want. I'm happy to get you in. I have lockbox access, but my real job and my real value is to help you not screw this important thing up.
Well, you did a beautiful job elaborating that. Simple things like checking the homeowners association regulations for you can't have a dog over 25 pounds and you've got a Saint Bernard. I mean, it's
Yeah,
the practical things that we do every day that the average buyer doesn't. So you
yeah,
did really, really well. So one of the things that we talked about was that I thought this was a fascinating statistic. You said that everybody knows about 13.6 agents.
yeah,
13.6. And that compensation, you did a whole comparative on data on how really it wasn't the money, it wasn't the compensation, it was the services and articulating that value. And you gave some really solid tactics and insights into how people can create that value proposition. And one of the things that's coming up is you're going to really address this in a summit that you've got set up in Dallas. Because when you really looked at it, you called it Answering the Wake Up Call, the real estate event for those who want to meet the moment with confidence.
yeah.
This thing sounds to me like literally the cheat sheet, the Bible on what we need to rethink. Tell us a little bit about what we're looking, because you said something, this was so much fun. You said, skip the pontificators, join the doers.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, we decided to launch this event at the beginning of this year in January and put together, I think, a really strong program because 1,000 Watt is a branding and marketing agency. So This is what we do every day. Our view is that brand building and marketing and messaging has never been more important than it is right now in this moment. And then 2.5 weeks ago happened, and we got the settlement, and we're looking at no compensation in the MLS, and we got this media explosion. So what do we do? So what we've done is to focus the event that we're doing in June in Dallas on an array of marketing and messaging and branding topics, but we're going to focus intently on responding to that wake up call. And if right now we don't know what's going to happen, but what we know is that public opinion is volatile and weird and shapeable, how do you respond? Whether you're, a franchisor, a broker, a team leader, a solo agent, how do you tell your story in this new world? How do you make sure that you are the company or the practitioner that is meeting this moment sort of with confidence and stepping towards it rather than hiding from it and being afraid of it? I don't know whether this is going to change everything in real estate or next to nothing, but what I do know is that as business people, we have no other sensible choice than to be prepared to sharpen our value proposition and tell a new story. We have to do that. That has never been more important than it is right now. And I happen to think personally, this is not a scary moment. I think it's really an exciting moment because it's going to separate those who are able to meet the moment and those who aren't. And my philosophical stance has always been that I've always wanted to see the best in real estate win, and I'm not sure that that has always been the case. So this moment is for those who see the opportunity within the chaos and confusion and want to go after it.
I'm so excited about this upcoming event for you, for so many reasons. First of all, we have to break the old broken marketing habits. The me loop you said in branding and marketing. Yeah. That was funny. Yeah. It's the doom loop. We still see it. I knew it was gone years ago when it was all about us, when we put our faces on signs, which was the first time that we'd ever done that. We talk about building a brand that endures, and that brand is not a, and this, I'm just articulating for everybody listening. It's not some catchy little line, that makes you remember something. It's really about your core values as you live them and work them. So here's one of the other things I'd like to point out, and that is, having founded the Women's Wisdom Network, I'm really grateful and admire you all for having women presenters as well. Our industry is heavily dominated by women, and it's great to hear a message from some of these powerhouses that you've got lined up. I'm just asking you, what's the best way to, I know it's in June 25th to 27th, it's in Dallas. Give us a few more details on that.
Sure. It's going to be in Dallas. It's going to be over 3 days, and we have over 30 speakers. A lot of it is going to be focused on deliverables. We wanted to create a conference where people left with something other than, good feelings you want to deliver. But a lot of it is going to be sort of action oriented and workshop based. So we're going to probably have 500 people, but we're going to make sure that when people go home, we send them home with things that they can implement, because time is of the essence here. We have this unique moment, this window of opportunity, and we want people to seize it. So it's going to be very practical, very action oriented. And yeah, if you want information on the event, you can just go to our website, which is 1000watt.net, 1000watt.net, and you'll see a link for Summit up there. You can see who's speaking, how the schedule flows, all of that.
Well, let me just point out to everybody that I've already been to the site. It's amazing because it makes you want to have it right now. But we talk about the fact that that it's an opportunity. It's a great way now to level up so that the people that don't want to do the work don't stay, and to really build a solid professional image out there, because you'll literally walk away with things that you can do. And more importantly, you're hearing from speakers You said it, you may not have ever heard of, but they are powerhouses behind branding and marketing and messaging. So there's a limit. There's going to, somewhere between 500 and 600 people. You're already pretty good into 50%. So I would encourage everybody listening to sign up right away. And by the way, if you ever do another one of those webinars, let me know, because I've got a whole bunch of people that would want to be on it.
Okay.
You are gracious with your schedule to join us today to share this messaging about what an opportunity this really is, because it's the structured approach to a problem that made us level up and get better than we already were, and to articulate to people what they need to know. So thank you so much for joining us. Go to 1000watt.net, sign up for the summit. Don't miss it. This is one of the most important opportunities you have right now to change your business and your business going forward this year. Thanks so much for joining us, Brian. I hope you'll join us again.
Harry, thank you. It was an honor to talk with you.
Thank you.